This guy just made $1 million with a few webinars within 1 week. And I think he could have doubled those numbers. If you're not familiar, this guy's name is Jun Ya, and he has 5 million followers, and he's really good at making followers and driving them to a webinar. And guys, I've been attending this webinar. It is maybe one of the best webinars I've seen so far. Props to him and his team. With some basic math, seeing how many thousands of people were on the webinar, how many people he was calling out who were purchasing when he got to the sales pitch, and the fact that each product cost $3,000, you could pretty much tell that this was a 6 to 7 figure event, probably 7 figure. With that being said, I'm a bit of a webinar expert. I've spent a long time studying the best webinar salespeople from all across digital marketing. And I actually compiled 10 things, 10 tweaks that you can make to your webinar to double or sometimes 10x the sales you get on a webinar. And this isn't just coming from me. This is coming from all the top webinar experts who have done webinars for the last 20 years and made multi-millions of dollars doing webinars. Everyone from Pat Flynn to John Lee Dumas and so on and so forth. So I want to share with you the 10 things that I thought he could have done even better to make even more sales. Even though this guy, he's probably done one of the best webinars I've seen. Now, Jun has done a great webinar from an entertainment and value perspective, but here are some little things you can do to increase show-up rates that have dramatic effects. One, keep them on the webinar with sporadic live value bonuses that you sprinkle throughout the webinar and you tease beforehand. Iwa Wisaka of Mindvalley increased show-up rates by 30 to 35% by doing these live bonuses throughout the webinar and teasing them. She does webinars with over 9,000 live attendees per webinar. So you can look at the numbers there. 30 to 35% increase rate means a lot more cash. Second tweak the registration page. This is a huge thing. It's a landing page. So increasing the conversion rate a bit can have a huge impact. Neil Patel, he converted 12.8% better than the original with a 98% confidence level by having sign-up forms on the left side of the registration page and removing bios of presenters on the registration page increased conversion rate by an additional 19.3% with a 99.96% confidence interval. Offer a demo. Demos work better than free trials. Now, Jun here, he's doing more of like this online course, so it's not really a SaaS product, but I'm sure there's some other thing that you can tease that is a demo of some sort, maybe a demo of the course. He's already doing live audits with live attendees, which is great, but perhaps he can tease this more. Why? Well, Neil Patel found he converted over 10% better with a demo than a free trial. Don't make a hard sales pitch. Now, what Jun does is he does these 4-hour sessions, and about halfway through, he goes into a hard sales pitch for at least an hour, usually 2 hours. And he usually starts it by saying, have I earned 20 minutes of your time? Now, I get what he's doing here, but here's what you want to do first. You want to give value, educate, and show your product can solve their problems, which Jun does great. Neil has found that a more aggressive approach to get them to buy in the middle of the webinar dropped attendee rates by 20 to 30%. So, this is one I kind of disagree with. I do think that Jun's doing the right thing and he can be aggressive and he has earned it. 2 hours of value is great. This is more about Neil. You need to understand the nuances. Neil's more talking about someone who's maybe doing a 30-minute to 1 hour webinar. So I think Jun gets a pass for this one. But I really do think it's okay if you drop attendance rate, but have them stick around maybe. Maybe say like, okay, I am going to go into this pitch, but you need to stick around because after this pitch, we have some more tremendous value and stuff to drop. I think that might get a lot more people to stick around versus just immediately drop when you get into this long sales pitch. Number 5, triple your revenue and increase your stick rate with the yes ladder. Now, I gotta give props to various people for using this. I mean, they're not the ones who originated this because they learned it from other sales and public speaking sellers that were really great. But I mean, they popularized it. Russell Brunson's a big one, and then Tim Page of Lead Pages. So Tim Page, who is founded Lead Pages, which used to be one of the top conversion rate landing page softwares, and he actually holds a Guinness World Record for the most webinars ever done at over 450. Now, Tim found that answering relevant questions throughout the webinar presentation, rather than just a Q&A style at the end, tripled revenue and increased attendee stick rate to 98%. Keep it natural, keep it flowing, do a couple questions every now and then. I think June already does a pretty decent job at this, but I feel like some of the questions are more geared towards logistics and keeping things going. I think he can add some more questions of value that he answers live throughout. Number 6, tweak your presentation slides to include a frequently asked questions section. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Russell Brunson, a huge internet marketer. You may know him, you may not, but he's a funnel hacker extraordinaire. He went from 30,000 to 120,000 in sales per webinar by having simply a Q&A page tweaked to answer their most biggest objections. Editors know, this is anecdotal evidence. Russell is not as scientific as a Neil Patel, so he's not running these, confidence interval tests. 7, consider a directory of your old webinars. Now, most people, they're just like, it's only live. There's no recording, this and that. But Neil found that an old repository of webinars provided about 20% of overall webinar leads, which is nothing to sneeze about. Neil gives them for free in exchange for an email. Kimra Luna, another internet marketer, she charges $40 each for them. So consider that as another lead source. 8, triple your sales with one or more upsells. Just having one upsell or cross-sell can add tens of thousands of dollars. And I get it, you don't want to add too many. 4 or 5 can just seem like, man, this guy's really trying to extract all the money from you. But having one cross-sell or something, or upsell or bonus can really increase the average order value by a lot. And it can be done in a complimentary, non-salesy way. So how can you do this? Well, you don't have to go through it on the live webinar per se. You can have it like right after the checkout page. So after they purchase, you can have a subsequent page that is an upsell or downsell. Now there's certain numbers, certain pricing numbers for these upsells and downsells that are optimal. Like, it's like 30% of the original ticket price or something like that. That's proven to convert the most, but I'm not gonna get into pricing theory. But a lot of people like Ryan Lee, Russell Brunson, and Amy Porterfield are all in about this. 9, do them more frequently. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of people just don't see the obvious. There'll be someone who says, oh yeah, I do 100K per webinar. Then you ask them, how often do you do the webinar? Oh, once every 2 months. Well, why not do it once a week? Oh, I never thought of that. And I get it, these are a lot of work. These are huge undertakings. June, for some reason, is doing 4-hour versions, which is tremendous time investment. The average webinar is usually 1 hour. So I would actually highly encourage him to shave down the time duration. I think he could probably accomplish the same thing and get the same amount of sales in half the time. Russell Brunson actually was doing all sorts of things, and then he found he was making the most money ROI from webinars. So he basically stopped doing everything else and did more webinars more frequently. Number 10, change the title of your webinar to starting now, 20 minutes before in all caps. Believe it or not, this has shown to increase show-up rate by up to 20%. Believe it or not, I have a lot more tips, but we hit 10, so I think those are the most impactful. June, I hope you watch this, hope your team watches this, and hope you win more than you are now, because you're already killing the game, brother.